This is the plaintiff, Norma Gordon. She says the defendant was her beautician who sewed her weave in. She made sure to tell her each time she was allergic to glue and reminded her not to use any. Well, sure enough, she used it on her scalp. She had a reaction which caused her a great deal of pain, and her hair fell out, causing her to have to go out in public with her head wrapped up like a mummy. She's suing the irresponsible woman for $300 for pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Loretta Taylor. She says she always uses glue to apply weaves. That's all she uses and all she's ever used. She is shocked the plaintiff's suing her because she never once mentioned she was allergic to it. The woman must have torn the weave out herself, causing her own pain and suffering. Oh, her money? Ha, ha, ha. She's accused of being unbeweavable.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated and come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Norma Gordon?
Yes.
You are suing Loretta Taylor for $300 that you feel she owes you for pain and suffering and damage that she did to your hair using glue when she put in weaves. Tell me what's going on.
Yes. On last year, around June the 15th, I approached Miss Taylor to apply weave in my hair. But the first thing I told her, do not use glue. Glue is as in this, because it will take my hair out. And she did. And
But didn't you see her doing it?
yes.
But then why didn't you tell her? No,
I'm sorry. No, I didn't see her do it. I just
she's doing it
assumed
right
that
there. Isn't there a mirror in front of you?
No, I can't see nothing. I can't see when she's applying my hair.
Where do you work?
I work in Chicago.
But in a salon?
Yes, in a
Is there a
salon.
mirror in front of you?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
The mirror is a little high. I'd have to stand to watch what she's doing. And plus the fact that I go to her like every 2 weeks, and the shampoo young lady, when she had asked Loretta, what did she want her to do to my hair that particular day? And Loretta told her that she was going to change the style, you know.
And when I asked you, didn't you notice while she was doing it, because the glue's in one hand, in order for her to do the weave with glue, the glue is in one hand. And I assume you put it down and you pick it up and you put it down and you pick it up. And how do you not see it? And your answer is, I can't see the mirror, it's too high?
The mirror is too high. The mirror is up, it's above me. I'm sitting in a chair. I'd have to actually stand up to watch to see what she's doing.
The point of the mirror is that the person sitting in the chair can see themselves. That's the kind
right, but you usually look in the mirror after they're through.
So the mirror's there, you're just not looking at it.
Right. The mirror.
So what ends up happening when she uses the glue?
Oh, okay. Well, after she proceeded to put the glue in, eventually it took my hair out. And I have pictures to show.
Let me see the pictures. Wait, how did you expect the weaves to stay there? You wanted her to do what instead?
Normally, if you have hair on your head and you put the glue on the hair, it's going to stay on there. But
Okay.
if the hair is bald, it's not going to stay.
Okay.
You know
So
what I
you
mean?
told her to use what instead of glue?
I told her to sew it in instead of gluing it in.
And sewing it in, how does one sew it in?
Sewing is done with a needle and a thread, and you have to braid the hair prior to that. And you're sewing the hair onto the braid.
Right. So wouldn't you know that somebody's sewing if you expect somebody to be sewing?
Yeah, I knew that. I knew when she sewed my hair.
Okay, but so you knew she wasn't sewing that
She
day.
wasn't sewing.
So why don't you just stop her and say, what are you doing?
Well, you know, Judge, I give you credit for going to school, and I figure that you should know what you're doing. You're a professional person. And if I'm telling you, don't put the glue in my hair, and you're doing it anyway, so then what?
So when did your hair fall out?
She did this application around January the 24th.
Okay, there's no weaves in any of these pictures,
No,
right?
because it's all out.
How did you get the weaves out?
My daughter, she's a cosmetologist.
Okay, so why weren't you going to your daughter to begin with? Go ahead, come on up.
I work a job. I don't do that.
Oh, you just kind of do it on the side?
Yeah,
But
just
you took the weaves out?
yes, I did.
When did you take the weaves out?
Could I go back a little bit?
Yeah.
Or because my mom is nervous.
It's all right.
Initially, when she went to get her hair done, she wanted weave because the glue is no good for her. So
Why not?
because it tends to thin her hair.
Okay. And you
And-
told her
to make sure she don't use any glue. She has to have a sew-in. And her response to me was, no problem.
Did this conversation happen?
No, ma'am.
Ever?
Ever.
Do you know her?
Yes, I know Sharice. I haven't seen Sharice in years. This is my first time seeing her in so long.
What happened here?
Well, Your Honor, I've been knowing Miss Norma for years, and she's like a friend, grandmother to me, and she's been coming to me for a long time, and therefore, this particular day, her appointment was on January 23rd. Of 2013. She came to me and got her service. Sharice was not with her. Miss Norma was by herself. My mirror sits right in front of you, and I have one on the side. So therefore, if I'm giving you service that you're not satisfied, I'm definitely going to make it happen to make you happy. My job is to make you happy, not to take your money.
Have you ever sewn in a weave for her?
I sewn in, yes, I have. And I only do that one day a week. That's only on Tuesdays. I work Wednesday through Saturday doing regular glue hair. I only can do it on Tuesdays. I cannot complete a sewing because it's so time consuming. It takes like 4 or 5 hours for me to do a sewing.
So did she walk in that day with an appointment?
She had an appointment approximately at 12:30, January 23rd.
And when she comes in, does she tell you I want it sewn in?
No. Miss Norma knows that I only do sewings only on Tuesdays. Her appointment was to get a glue. And that's exactly what she got done.
How often does she get sewn in versus glue?
The last 4 times she came back to me, it's been glue.
No sew-ins in the last 4 times?
No sew-in.
And you didn't see her? Schedule. She didn't come in and demand that it be a sew-in?
Definitely not. Definitely not. And I have a schedule that I keep with my appointments in, and it's very well documented what I'm doing and what day I'm doing it on. And she's scheduled for January 23rd at 12:30 for a glue, not a sew-in.
Okay. My question to you is, she's obviously got very damaged hair.
Okay.
And so should you be doing a glue-in on her? Maybe you should reject her as a customer and say, I can't do it for you.
Well, basically, I'm into hair care. And before I even make a dime, health care is more important to me than anything, first and foremost. And I've always, and I still do, educate my clients in how to take care of their hair. I'm a professional licensed hairstylist. And my job and my duty is to make my clients happy. I don't take from them and take their hair out. I wear the product myself, and I have a hair full of hair, and it's definitely people coming to me. It's gonna reap the same benefits. So definitely.
Do you glue yours?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Can I ask a question? When you say they start to fall out, or when do you decide that there's a problem?
I noticed the problem when I got home that next day.
What was the problem?
I took my finger and I did this, and I told my daughter, because my daughter was living with me. I said, Sheree, my hair is bald.
Were chunks of your hair falling out on your hand?
It was coming out, and I had not noticed it because, number one.
Okay, so do you have pictures or the hair or something to show me that your hair was falling out? Because what you're showing me is I'm seeing a lot of hair missing, but there's a reason you were coming in for the weave. I don't know. Let me show you this, and you tell me, is that the head that you worked on? Go ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Definitely not.
No.
And before Miss Norma got serviced that day, Miss Norma seen her hair before and after it was serviced. My mirror stately shows she stood.
Okay, I don't want to need to know about the mirror anymore. So now you end up telling your daughter, I think she used glue. And then you end up taking it out. How did you take it out?
What I noticed was her hairstyle had changed. And I said, Mom, well, you did something different to your hair. She said, yeah, she put just a true tract in here. I said, she didn't glue it, did she? She said, oh, yeah, she glued it. She said, don't worry, that it's going to be fine. I said, Mom, you can't do that. So
it sounds like your mother knew what service she got.
I was upset because,
but I understand. But your mother's a grown woman, who is going to make her own appointments.
She knows nothing about
and goes to do stuff. I understand, but she only has a lawsuit if she tells somebody I want X and somebody provided Y, and she has no clue why it's being provided. You're telling me, just like I suspected, that she knows darn well that it was glue the day before.
But if she's saying that she's telling her that she's going to protect her hair, and she puts something on to protect it.
How did you remove the
glue? I washed it several times, several days, and then I used glue removal. Okay. It's a glue removal. It's similar to this brand here. I think it's the same, almost the same brand as this. It's a glue removal.
All right. And tell me about how a person removes extensions that are glued on.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Are you buying this plaintiff's story that you couldn't see the mirror?
No.
Why?
It's stupid.
Okay, well, it is stupid. Is it possible that you could go to a salon and you couldn't see the mirror?
I would not stay if I couldn't see the mirror.
Absolutely, especially if you're getting something done important.
Right.
And then finally, what are the other signs that glue is being applied, even if he can't see it?
She might have been able to smell it somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, she might have been able to smell it. Do you believe there was glue in her hair?
I think so. I don't think so, actually.
No, I think the second answer was the best. Going inside the courtroom.
Well, first of all, Miss Norma always get glue on her hair. She's never removed glue on her own. I always did it for her, and that's why she was able to see before and after her service. That way, the growth of her hair. She had enough hair to not even have a track in her hair. That's how good her hair was doing. And this is Bond Remover Shampoo. What you do is wash it and it comes right out. Prior to that, this is Bond Remover. This product works on its own. It's no pulling, no tugging, because it states on the back of it what and how to handle your weave when it's in. And it states what not to do. And it clearly states on the back. So therefore, if she did do it, why would you wash it several times? Because once with this, it would have been out. She wouldn't have had no problem. And I have pictures of many clients that get the service done and how it's put in and how it's taken out. If you would like to see.
I don't need to see that. I watched Chris Rock's documentary because I have a lot of these cases and I want to understand. I really do. I want to understand how this works.
Absolutely.
But this really isn't about that.
And
I don't need to know the intricacies of this process more than I need to understand just contracts law. And what we have is every time you go to the salon, you have a contract. And so you're going to do X, I'm going to pay you Y. And she walks in and you are telling me, daughter, that she was never supposed to use glue. My mother doesn't do well with glue. She was always supposed to weave it in, but your mom made an appointment on a day that's a glue day. On top of that, I don't believe that your mom can't see the mirror. I just don't believe that. The purpose of the mirror is so that people can see it. On top of that, I don't believe that when you spend how many hours there?
4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours, you don't see that there's glue being used. On top of that, you tell me that your mom comes home and says, she glued my hair. She knows there's glue being used. So how can you get your money back? And when was the service that we're talking about? January 23rd? These pictures are developed April 14th. Do you have any pictures that you took in January? Did you take them with a cell phone, maybe? And so they're on your cell phone, date stamp January?
I don't know exactly when I took them with the cell phone, but I did take them with the cell phone.
If you took them January 26th, then we're talking.
Judge, may I say this?
Yeah.
I also kept calling her. After this particular thing happened, I said, well, let me call her.
After what happened?
My hair started coming out.
Okay, you call her and she wasn't returning your calls?
No.
Did you not return her calls?
I have my cell phone with me. I have two incoming calls. One January 23rd, the day of her appointment, just to allow me to know that she's running late. And the second one is March 1st to just inquire, instead of her calling me to allow me to understand that she has a problem or allow me to rectify, possibly give her money back and just make her happy. She didn't do none of that. Her call to me on March 1st was to ask me how am I doing, how was my vacation, and her concern was, did you get some court papers? And that was pretty much it. Oh, that's all I wanted to know, and hung up.
Okay.
And I have the incoming calls.
Did you
Right?
find your pictures, yes or no?
Yes.
Let
I
me
also
see.
called her, and she did not return any of my calls either.
And when she was gluing it in, usually I've seen her put a stocking cap or something on my hair first, but she didn't do that.
You have 144 pictures in your phone, and this is in the last 20 of them. So I don't think these were done in January.
No, that's probably why, because I switched phones.
Okay, well, I don't know what that means. I switched phones. The photos are in this phone, so they were taken with this phone. Based on what I've heard, I cannot find in favor of the plaintiff. I find in favor of the defendant in this case.
And so with that, the plaintiff leaves the courtroom here on the losing end of the case. Here, come on in here next to me, ma'am. And what are you thinking here as a result of losing this verdict?
Well, I don't think it's really fair, but, the judge is the last word.
How could this have happened? How could this happen?
It happened.
After going there so many times?
Yeah, and I've gone to her quite a few years. But it's just the point that if I tell you don't do something, you do it. Well, this is the results.
Well, you're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right. Follow that young man that way, all right? You're welcome. All right. Thank you. All right, step on in here. Come on in here. Stand right next to her, please. Step back a little bit. All right, so what do you think of the outcome here?
I'm very well satisfied with the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I serviced her the best to my knowledge, and I did what she asked me to do. And if she still wanted to come back in the future, I'll take care of her.
Yeah, well, do you think you'll ever see her again in your shop?
No, I won't.
Was this worth it to lose a customer?
It was not worth it because all she had to do was call me and allow me to understand the problem so I can rectify it, not just serve me, not give me knowledge of what's going on. You know, when something going on, just let me know what's going on so I can help rectify the problem. That's all. All
right, I will. Harvey?
Here's the guiding light. If you ever suffer any kind of a physical injury, take pictures immediately. Just trust me here. And that will do it for this case. Litigants, for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.